Here is a detailed and very simple summary of Muhammad of Ghur's invasions of India, explained step by step with extra background and examples to help you fully understand everything clearly. Detailed summary of the causes of Muhammad of Ghur's invasions. Muhammad of Ghur was a powerful and ambitious ruler from the region of Ghur in present-day Afghanistan. During conquering lands was the main way for powerful, rich, and respected. His invasions of India, especially in the late 1100s, were not caused by one single reason. Instead, they were caused by many connected reasons, which we can understand in the following points. 1. Ambition to build a great empire. Muhammad of Ghur dreamed of becoming a great emperor like Mahmud of Ghazni or Alexander the Great. He didn't want to be a small king. He wanted to rule a huge empire across many lands. He saw India, especially the region of Punjab, as a rich and important place to conquer and add to his growing kingdom. Think of it like this. A businessman doesn't want just one shop. He wants to open branches everywhere to become the biggest name in the market. Similarly, Muhammad wanted to grow his rule far and wide. 2. He saw himself as the true heir of Punjab. The region of Punjab, which includes parts of today's India and Pakistan, was once ruled by Mahmud of Ghazni. Mahmud had built a powerful empire, but after his death, his descendants, called the Ghaznavids, became weak. Muhammad of Ghur ruled the Ghurid Empire, which took over parts of Mahmud's old territory. So Muhammad believed that Punjab rightfully belonged to him as part of the legacy of Mahmud. Like a son claiming his father's house after another cousin moves in, Muhammad thought, this was part of my family's land. I should take it back. 3. Political strategy. Remove enemies in the rear. Muhammad had a big enemy in the north, the Khwarezmian Empire in Central Asia. But before fighting that powerful enemy, he wanted to secure his southern side, India. In Punjab and Multan, in India, there were two main threats. 1. The Ghaznavid king of Lahore, who could attack him from behind. 2. The Karmathians of Multan, who were religious rivals. So Muhammad wanted to destroy these enemies first, to keep his back safe before fighting larger battles elsewhere. Like a soldier closing all open doors behind him before facing a strong enemy in front. This was careful planning. 4. Long-standing rivalry with the Ghaznavids. The Ghurid family and the Ghaznavid family had been enemies for a long time. The Ghaznavids had earlier attacked and dominated the Ghurids. Now that the Ghurids had become stronger, Muhammad wanted to take revenge and defeat the Ghaznavid rulers in Punjab and Lahore. It's like two rival families. One used to be strong and bully the other. Now the roles reversed, and Muhammad saw a chance to win back pride and power. Shah 5. The importance of Multan and the Karmathians. In the region of Multan, there was a group called the Karmathians. They were Muslims, but their beliefs were very different from the mainstream Sunni Islam. Muhammad of Ghur, a Sunni Muslim, saw them as heretics, people with wrong beliefs. He also saw them as political rivals, not just religious ones. So he wanted to defeat them and take control of Multan. This was both a religious goal and a military strategy, since Multan was a key city with wealth and location. 6. Love of war and glory. In those days, wars made kings famous. If a king won battles, built a large empire, and ruled over many people, he was seen as great and heroic. Muhammad of Ghur wanted this kind of military glory and historical fame. He wanted to be remembered as a mighty conqueror, not just a local ruler. Like a sports champion wanting to win all the trophies, Muhammad wanted to win many lands and leave a legacy. Harp 7. Religious motivation. Spread of Islam. Muhammad of Ghur was a devout Muslim. He believed it was a good and holy task to spread Islam to non-Muslim lands like India. He saw Hindus in India as idol worshippers and wanted to bring them the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. However, and this is very important, this was not his main reason. The text clearly says his main goal was political, to win land, power, and security. The spread of Islam came after conquest, not before it. Complete final summary. Everything in one place. Muhammad of Ghur invaded India for many connected reasons. He wanted to become a great emperor, like Mahmud of Ghazni. He believed Punjab belonged to him since it was once ruled by Ghazni. He needed to secure his rear before fighting a bigger enemy in Central Asia, Khorasan. He had old rivalry with the Ghaznavid family and wanted revenge to defeat the Tan, who were both political and religious threats. He was motivated by the glory and fame that came with military victories. As a religious Muslim, he also wished to spread Islam, but this came after the conquest, not before. In short, his main purpose was political and military conquest, not religion. Religion followed naturally after the victory. If you'd like, I create a diagram chart showing all causes. Turn this into a short story or comic strip for even easier understanding. Make a quiz or flashcards to help you remember. Let me know how you'd like it to continue. Sure. Here's a great, deep, and detailed summary of Muhammad of Ghur's conquest of Multan and Sindh, written in the simplest and clearest language possible, like you're learning it for the first time. Pasture summary. Muhammad of Ghur's conquest of Multan and Sindh, 1175 to 1182. Who was Muhammad of Ghur? Muhammad of Ghur was a powerful ruler from Ghur, a region in present-day Afghanistan. He wanted to expand his empire into India. His first big step into India began in 1175 AD, when he focused on Multan and Sindh, two important regions in what is now Pakistan. 1. Multan conquered in 1175 AD. Multan was a wealthy and religious city in southern Punjab. It was ruled by a Muslim sect called the Ismailis, also known as Karmathians or Karamita. Most mainstream Muslims at that time saw them as heretics, people with false or dangerous religious beliefs. Muhammad of Ghur attacked Multan, defeated the Ismaili rulers, and took control of the city. He then appointed his own governor to rule on his behalf. Why it mattered. Multan became Muhammad's first base in India. From here, he could plan more attacks and gain more power in the region. Tamars II. Uch captured soon after, also in 1175 AD. Muhammad then moved toward Uch, a nearby town in Upper Sindh. There was a popular story that a Bhati Rajput king ruled Uch, and his queen betrayed him by poisoning him and helping Muhammad take the city. But this story is not true. Historians now say that Rajputs never ruled Uch. The ruler was most likely another Karmathian Muslim, just like in Multan. Muhammad captured Uch, possibly by using a clever trick called a stratagem, like sneaking in soldiers, bribing someone inside, or some other smart plan. 3. Muhammad returns to conquer Lower Sindh, 1182 AD. After taking Multan and Uch, Muhammad waited a few years. In 1182 AD, he marched south into Lower Sindh. Lower Sindh was ruled by a local Muslim dynasty called the Sumras. The Sumra king did not fight a big war, but was forced to accept Muhammad's authority. This means the Sumra ruler could keep ruling his land, but he had to obey Muhammad, pay taxes, and accept him as the overlord. What does all this mean? By 1182, Muhammad of Ghur had defeated Karmathian rulers in Multan and Uch, taken over Upper Sindh and Lower Sindh, forced the Sumra rulers to accept his rule. This gave him a strong foothold in India, and from here he would later go on to fight major battles with the Rajput kings, especially in North India, help lay the foundation for what would later become the Delhi Sultanate, a powerful Muslim empire in India. Why was this conquest important in history? It was the beginning of Muhammad of Ghur's expansion into India. It showed how he was not just using violence, but also clever planning, tricks, and diplomacy, like making local kings accept him as overlord. His success in Multan and Sindh made later conquests in Delhi possible. These events helped put power into Indian politics, which would shape Indian history for centuries. If you'd like, I can now show this on a simple map, give you a short timeline of events, or explain the religious groups involved, like the Ismailis, Karmathians, and Sumras, in more detail. Just let me know. Sure. Here's a great, deep, and detailed summary of Muhammad of Ghur's conquest of Multan and Sindh, written in the simplest and clearest language possible, like you're learning it for the first time. Pasture summary. Muhammad of Ghur's conquest of Multan and Sindh, 1175 to 1182. Who was Muhammad of Ghur? Muhammad of Ghur was a powerful ruler from Ghur, a region in present-day Afghanistan. He wanted to expand his empire into India. His first big step into India began in 1175 AD, when he focused on Multan and Sindh, two important regions in what is now Pakistan. 1. Multan, conquered in 1175 AD. Multan was a wealthy and religious city in southern Punjab. It was ruled by a Muslim sect called the Ismailis, also known as Karmathians or Karamita. Most mainstream Muslims at that time saw them as heretics, people with false or dangerous religious beliefs. Muhammad of Ghur attacked Multan, defeated the Ismaili rulers, and took control of the city. He then appointed his own governor to rule on his behalf. Why it mattered. Multan became Muhammad's first base in India. From here, he could plan more attacks and gain more power in the region. Tamars II. Uch captured soon after, also in 1175 AD. Muhammad then moved toward Uch, a nearby town in Upper Sindh. There was a popular story that a Bhatti Rajput king ruled Uch, and his queen betrayed him by poisoning him and helping Muhammad take the city. But this story is not true. Historians now say that Rajputs never ruled Uch. The ruler was most likely another Karmathian Muslim, just like in Multan. Muhammad captured Uch, possibly by using a clever trick called a stratagem, like sneaking in soldiers, bribing someone inside, or some other smart plan. 3. Muhammad returns to conquer Lower Sindh, 1182 AD. After taking Multan and Uch, Muhammad waited a few years. In 1182 AD, he marched south into Lower Sindh. Lower Sindh was ruled by a local Muslim dynasty called the Sumras. The Sumra king did not fight a big war, but was forced to accept Muhammad's authority. This means the Sumra ruler could keep ruling his land, but he had to obey Muhammad, pay taxes, and accept him as the overlord. What does all this mean? By 1182, Muhammad of Ghur had defeated Karmathian rulers in Multan and Uch, taken over Upper Sindh and Lower Sindh, forced the Sumra rulers to accept his rule. This gave him a strong foothold in India, and from here he would later go on to fight major battles with the Rajput kings, especially in North India, help lay the foundation for what would later become the Delhi Sultanate, a powerful Muslim empire in India. Why was this conquest important in history? It was the beginning of Muhammad of Ghur's expansion into India. It showed how he was not just using violence, but also clever planning, tricks, and diplomacy, like making local kings accept him as overlord. His success in Multan and Sindh made later conquests in Delhi possible. These events helped put power into Indian politics, which would shape Indian history for centuries. If you'd like, I can now show this on a simple map, give you a short timeline of events, or explain the religious groups involved, like the Ismailis, Karmathians, and Sumras, in more detail. Just let me know. Here is an even deeper, extremely clear, step-by-step story of how Muhammad Ghur captured Punjab, the Ghaznavid rule, written in the most way possible, like telling a complete story to someone with no background knowledge at all. The full story, how Muhammad of Ghur took Punjab and ended the Ghaznavids. 1. Who was Muhammad of Ghur? Muhammad of Ghur was a king from a place called Ghur, which is in modern-day Afghanistan. He wanted to build an empire in India. Before him, a ruler named Ghazni had attacked India many times. But Mahmud never stayed or ruled India permanently. He just looted. After Mahmud's time, the Ghaznavid dynasty still ruled parts of India, especially Punjab, with their capital at Lahore. The last Ghaznavid king was Khusrav Malik. Muhammad's first mistake. The Sindh route. At first, Muhammad tried to enter India from the Sindh and Multan side, west of India. This area had deserts, was hard to cross, and had strong local rulers. It was not a good way to reach deeper parts of India like Delhi. He failed to make big progress this way. 3. New plan. Go through Punjab. Muhammad then understood, to conquer the heart of India, I must go through Punjab. Why Punjab? Because it had important cities like Peshawar, Lahore, Sialkot. It was closer to Delhi and the Ganges Plain. If he controlled Punjab, it would be easy to enter northern India. So he changed his plan and attacked Punjab instead. Nashta 4. Step-by-step takeover of Punjab. Capture of Peshawar, 1179 AD. Muhammad attacked the city of Peshawar, which was under Ghaznavid control. He defeated the Ghaznavid forces and captured Peshawar. This was his first real success in India. Moved towards Lahore, 1181 AD. After Peshawar, Muhammad moved towards Lahore, the capital of Punjab. The Ghaznavid ruler Khusrav Malik got scared. To avoid a fight, Khusrav sent costly gifts, his own son as a hostage, to show he wanted peace. Muhammad accepted, but this showed Khusrav was weak. This success made Muhammad bold. He wanted to take more. C. Attack on Sialkot, 1185 AD. Muhammad now attacked Sialkot, an important fort city. He looted the countryside, villages and people around the city, captured the fort, repaired it, left his own soldiers inside to control it. 5. Khusrav tries to fight back. Now Khusrav realized Muhammad is not going to stop. He wants to take everything. So Khusrav made a plan to fight. He made alliance with the Khokars, a brave Hindu tribe. Khokars lived in the Salt Range Mountains. The Khokars were king of Jammu, another Hindu kingdom, so they joined Khusrav. Together they attacked Sialkot to take it back. But Muhammad's soldiers inside the fort fought bravely and defeated them. 6. Muhammad returns. Siege of Lahore, 1186 AD. In 1186 he came back with an army. This time he surrounded Lahore to take the capital. But he was still careful because Lahore was well protected. So he used diplomacy and alliances too. He became friends with Chakradeva, king of Jammu, enemy of Khokars. Some say Chakradeva even invited Muhammad to invade Punjab. Vijayadeva, Chakra's son or successor, also helped. Even with their help, Muhammad could not break into Lahore by fighting. 7. Muhammad uses a trick. Since war didn't work, Muhammad tried a trick. He sent a message to Khusrav Malik. Come meet me. I promise I won't harm you. This is called a promise of safe conduct. Khusrav believed him and came. But Muhammad broke his promise. He captured Khusrav, sent him far away to Gargistan, and later had him killed in 1192 AD. The result? End of the Ghaznavid Empire. After capturing Lahore, Muhammad now controlled Multan, Sialkot, Peshawar. This was all of Punjab. With Khusrav Malik dead and his son as hostage, the Ghaznavid dynasty was finished. 9. Why this was so important? By winning Punjab, Muhammad of Ghur had now opened a highway into India. This victory was like opening the door to Delhi and beyond. From here, he would go on to fight famous battles like First Battle of Tarain, 1191. He lost. Second Battle of Tarain, 1192. He won, defeating Prithviraj Chauhan. After this, his generals like Qutbuddin Aibak ruled India. This started the Delhi Sultanate, a major Muslim rule in India that lasted for centuries. Simple timeline, year, event. 1179. Muhammad captures Peshawar. Moves towards Lahore. Khusrav sends gifts and son. Muhammad captures Sialkot. 6. Muhammad lays siege to Lahore. Khusrav Malik killed in Gargistan, 1192 plus. Punjab becomes part of Ghurid Empire. Ghaznavids are gone. If you'd like, I can also give you a comic strip showing this story step by step, a map to help you visualize it, a child-level quiz to help you remember everything. Visual comparison of Ghaznavids versus Ghurids. Just say the word. Here is an even deeper, step-by-step explanation and summary in the simplest and clearest way possible, with full background, added examples, and extra context to help you understand everything fully, even if you are a complete beginner. Deep, detailed summary of the passage. 1. His contact with Hindustan. Who is he? Muhammad of Ghur, a Muslim king from Central Asia, near present-day Afghanistan. He was slowly growing powerful and moving his armies toward India, which was called Hindustan in older times. What does contact with Hindustan mean? It means he came near India or started getting involved in Indian politics and wars. His empire started to touch or reach the border of Indian kingdoms. 2. Muhammad of Ghur's territory now touched the boundary of the kingdom of Prithviraj, the valiant ruler of Ajmer and Delhi. Muhammad of Ghur's land had now expanded so much that it reached the borders of India, specifically the borders of Prithviraj Chauhan's kingdom. Who was Prithviraj? He was a brave and powerful Rajput king who ruled Ajmer and Delhi in northwestern India. Valiant means brave and heroic. So now, the powerful Muslim ruler Muhammad of Ghur and the Rajput king Prithviraj had become neighbors. 3. The Rajputs had some experience of the Muslim Turks since the days of Sabuktigin and Mahmud of Ghazni. Rajputs was warrior kings and clans who ruled many parts of northern and central India. Muslim Turks, were invaders from Central Asia, like Sabuktigin and his son Mahmud of Ghazni, who had attacked India in the past around 1000 CE. Sabuktigin first attacked the Hindu Shahi kingdom near Afghanistan and northwest India. Mahmud of Ghazni came many times, 17 invasions, looted temples like Somnath, and became famous for plundering India. So the Rajputs had seen these kinds of attackers before. 4. And seem to have had a better appreciation than their ancestors of the 11th century of the aggressive tendencies of their new neighbors. The Rajputs in Muhammad of Ghur's time were smarter than the Rajputs of earlier times. They had learned something from past invasions. They understood more clearly that these Turkish Muslim rulers were aggressive, meaning they were ready to attack and expand. New neighbors equals Muhammad of Ghur and his generals. 5. Though it will be incorrect to say that they had grown wiser by this contact, even though they had more experience and awareness, the Rajputs still did not act wisely. They failed to unite, and many underestimated the Turkish danger. So the author says they were not truly wise, even if they knew more than before. 6. They had experience of occasional thrusts by an enterprising commander of the decadent house of Ghazni at Lahore. After Mahmud of Ghazni, his dynasty weakened. Decadent means weakened or dying. But some commanders from the Ghazni family based in Lahore still made small attacks, thrusts into Indian land. This kept reminding the Rajputs that the danger had not disappeared. 7. These thrusts had made the Rajputs alive to the Turkish menace. Alive to, or aware of. Turkish menace equals danger of Turkish Muslim invaders. These small attacks made the Rajput kings realize the Turks are still a threat. We need to be careful. 8. Some of the Rajput rulers, notably those of Kanauj and Ajmer, had put their armies in proper trim. Some Rajput kings, especially from Kanauj and Ajmer, started preparing. They trained their armies, strengthened their weapons, and got ready for war. In proper trim, in good shape, well prepared. 9. And invaded the outlying districts of the Ghaznavid province of the Punjab. These Rajput kings were not just sitting and waiting. They became bold and invaded border areas that belonged to the Ghaznavid Turks in Punjab. Outlying districts, outer border regions, like towns or forts on the edge of their territory. 10. Mention has already been made of the capture of Hansi and of Batinda by the Chauhans. The Chauhans, Prithviraj's clan, had already captured 2 important forts. Hansi, Batinda, these were important military towns in the region between India and the Ghaznavid lands. This showed that the Rajputs were not afraid, and they had some military strength. 11. In view of this experience, the Rajput rulers of Hindustan could not have been taken by surprise. Because of all this, earlier raids, small attacks from Lahore, their own invasions, the Rajputs had plenty of warning signs. So they should not have been shocked or surprised when Muhammad of Ghur attacked. 12. As they were 2 centuries before by the plundering hordes of Mahmud of Ghazni. In Mahmud of Ghazni's time, 200 years earlier, the Rajputs and Indian kings were totally unprepared. Mahmud looted temples, stole treasures, and no one expected it. But now, in the time of Muhammad of Ghur, they had more knowledge, more military action, and more reason to be ready. So this time, they should have been ready, but they still failed to respond properly. In short, simplified summary. Muhammad of Ghur came near India's borders, reaching the lands ruled by Prithviraj Chauhan. Indian kings, Rajputs, had seen earlier Muslim invasions by Mahmud Ghazni and others. They understood that these new Turkish rulers were warlike and dangerous. Some Rajput rulers, like those in Ajmer and Kanauj, purposed and attacked Ghaznavid territory. The Chauhans captured Hansi and Bathinda, important military victories. Because of all this, the Rajputs had lots of signs that war was coming. But even with this knowledge, they did not unite or act wisely. So when Muhammad of Ghur finally attacked, they were still not fully ready, even though they should have been. Would you like me to continue this and explain what happened after this moment, like the Battle of Tarain, 1191 and 1192, or how Delhi came under Turkish rule? I can go step by step with maps, character stories, and battles if you want. Here is a great, deep, and detailed summary of Muhammad of Ghur's defeat at the First Battle of Tarain in 1191 CE, written in the simplest, clearest, and most beginner-friendly way possible, with added background, meaning, examples, and full context. Who were the main people in this story? 1. Muhammad of Ghur, a powerful king from Ghur, which is in present-day Afghanistan. He wanted to conquer parts of India and add them to his empire. He was trying to enter India through the northwest, which was the common entry point for invaders. 2. Prithviraj Chauhan, a Rajput king from the Chauhan dynasty. He ruled from Ajmer to Delhi, and that made him the protector of India's northwestern border. He had the duty to stop any foreign invasion from the direction of Afghanistan and Punjab. What was happening before the battle? The Chauhans had built forts to protect important border towns. One of these towns was Bathinda, which was very close to the border. In 1189 CE, Muhammad of Ghur attacked Bathinda fort suddenly. This was a surprise attack. Prithviraj was not ready at that time. The soldiers inside the fort were defeated and surrendered. Muhammad left his own soldiers inside the fort under the command of a man named Zia-ud-Din. Muhammad started returning victory after the fort was taken. What did Prithviraj? As Muhammad was leaving, Prithviraj came with his army to take back the fort. His army met Muhammad's army near a village called Tarain, which is close to Bathinda. The year was 1191 CE. This became the first battle of Tarain. The battle. What happened? Prithviraj's army attacked Muhammad's forces fiercely. Muhammad of Ghur was badly wounded in the fight. A brave soldier from Muhammad's side, a Khalji officer, lifted him onto a horse and helped him escape the battlefield. Muhammad's army lost the battle very badly. This was a great victory for Prithviraj Chauhan after Bathinda fort. Even though Muhammad had escaped, his commander, Zia-ud-Din, was still inside Bathinda fort. So, Prithviraj laid siege to the fort. That means he surrounded it, cut off supplies, and waited for it to surrender. But the fort was very strong, and it took 13 months, more than 1 year, for Prithviraj to finally capture it again. Why was this battle important? 1. A rare Rajput victory. It was one of the few big battles where an Indian king defeated a major foreign invader. 2. Prithviraj defended India's border. He showed bravery and leadership by protecting the northwestern gateway of India. 3. Missed opportunity. Although Prithviraj won, he did not chase Muhammad back to Ghur or completely destroy his army. This allowed Muhammad to recover and return the very next year, in 1192 CE, which led to the Second Battle of Tarain, where Prithviraj was defeated. What do we learn from this event? Always stay prepared, even during peace. Prithviraj wasn't ready when Bathinda was first attacked. Don't stop after victory. Sometimes a temporary win is not enough. If the enemy is not removed fully, they can come back stronger. Unity and bravery can stop powerful enemies. The Rajputs, when prepared, could defeat even strong invaders like Muhammad of Ghur. Would you like me to now create a comic strip version of this story with simple scenes showing the events? I can do that for you next. Here is a great, deep, detailed, and very simple summary of the entire passage about Prithviraj's defeat at the Second Battle of Tarain, 1192 CE. I'll explain it in the easiest way possible, like teaching someone with no background at all. Summary: the defeat of Prithviraj at Tarain, 1192 CE. This story is about a very important battle in Indian history, the Second Battle of Tarain, where a powerful Hindu king named Prithviraj Chauhan was defeated by a foreign invader, Muhammad of Ghur. Background: before the battle, Prithviraj Chauhan was the king of a big northern India. He was brave, and Muhammad of Ghur was a ruler from Afghanistan who wanted to conquer parts of India. In the year 1191, both kings fought the First Battle of Tarain. Prithviraj won, and Muhammad of Ghur ran back to his kingdom, feeling ashamed and angry. This defeat was even worse for him than an earlier loss to another Indian king, Bhima II of Gujarat. Muhammad of Ghur's losing, Muhammad went back to his capital, Ghazni, in today's Afghanistan. He was deeply humiliated. He couldn't sleep peacefully or even feel happy, like a student who failed badly and kept thinking about it all the time. He decided to take revenge. He prepared a very large and strong army with 120,000 selected cavalry, horse riders. These were his best soldiers. His clever trick: he marched again towards India, called Hindustan at the time. He stopped at Lahore, an important city near India's heartland. To buy more time and trick Prithviraj, he sent a messenger, Chiwam Mulk, to Prithviraj. The message asked Prithviraj to surrender, give up. But Muhammad didn't mean it. He only wanted to fool Prithviraj, delay the battle, and prepare better. At first, Muhammad's trick worked. He gained a bit of time. But Prithviraj was not fooled easily. He understood the danger. He quickly went to Bathinda, a border area, and called other Rajput kings for help. Building a big army, Prithviraj and other Rajput kings gathered a huge army. A later historian named Farishta says they had 500,000 horsemen and 3,000 elephants. Probably an exaggeration, too high. But it shows the army was very big. The battle begins again at Tarain. The two sides fought again on the same battlefield, Tarain. Muhammad used a smart war plan. He divided his army into 5 parts. 4 parts surrounded and attacked the Rajputs from different directions. The 5th part was kept in reserve, held back to be used at the right time. This tactical strategy, war trick, helped him win the battle this time. Why this battle is so important? Prithviraj lost in this second battle. After this defeat, Muhammad of Ghur gained a strong foothold in North India. This opened the door for Muslim rule in India, which would last for hundreds of years. It marks the start of a new chapter in Indian history. The Delhi Sultanate would rise soon after. In short, Muhammad of Ghur lost to Prithviraj once and felt deeply humiliated. He prepared very carefully and cleverly to attack again. He tried to trick Prithviraj, but Prithviraj got ready with a big army. They fought again at Tarain, and this time, Muhammad used smart military planning. Prithviraj was defeated, and this became a turning point in Indian history. Would you like me to now explain what happened after the battle? Like what happened to Prithviraj, how Muhammad ruled after this, and what came next in Indian history? I can break that down just as simply. Absolutely. Here's a deep, detailed, and very simple summary of the entire passage you gave, told like a story, in the easiest words with clear explanations, so that even someone with zero background in history can fully understand it. Detailed and simple summary. The Second Battle of Tarain, 1192 CE. Background. Why this battle happened. In the late 1100s, Muhammad of Ghur, a powerful Muslim ruler from Central Asia, present-day Afghanistan, wanted to expand his empire into India. He had already fought the Rajput king Prithviraj Chauhan in 1191 during the First Battle of Tarain. In that first battle, Prithviraj won. He even wounded Muhammad of Ghur, and his general Kande Rai was the hero of that victory. But Muhammad of Ghur did not give up. He returned 1 year later, in 1192, better prepared and with a new battle plan. Muhammad of Ghur's clever battle plan. He did not attack directly. Instead, he made a smart military strategy. He organized his army in neat battle lines. He kept his main forces, strongest soldiers and elephants, at the back in reserve. He divided 40,000 light horsemen into 4 groups. These horsemen were fast and carried bows and arrows, not heavy weapons. Their job was to surround the Rajput army, keep shooting arrows from all directions, front, back, left, right. Confuse and tire the Rajputs by never letting them rest. If the Rajputs tried to fight back, the groups were told to help each other and attack quickly again. What happened in the battle? The Rajputs fought bravely. They were tough warriors and had a history of defending their land with pride. But because of the constant attacks from all sides, they became exhausted. They didn't get a chance to fight back properly because they were being shot at from everywhere. At the end of the day, when the Rajputs were tired and worn out, Muhammad of Ghur sent in his reserve forces, fresh, strong soldiers who hadn't fought yet. This final wave of attack was too much even for the brave Rajputs. Their army started to break and run away. Major events that turned the tide. Kande Rai, the hero of the first battle who had injured Muhammad of Ghur in 1191, was killed in this battle. This was a huge loss for Prithviraj's army. Prithviraj himself felt hopeless and defeated. He got down from his royal war elephant and tried to escape on horseback. But he was captured near a town called Saraswati. In the end, Muhammad of Ghur won the battle. Why this battle was important? The Second Battle of Tarain in 1192 was a turning point in Indian history. It marked the fall of the powerful Rajput king Prithviraj Chauhan. It allowed Muhammad of Ghur to take control of large parts of northern India. This victory paved the way for Muslim rule in India, leading to the rise of the Delhi Sultanate later. It was the beginning of foreign Islamic rule in North India, which lasted for many centuries. Key takeaways, very simple points. Muhammad of Ghur used smart planning, not just strength. He surrounded the enemy, tired them out, then finished them off. Prithviraj's army was brave but exhausted and outsmarted. The death of Kande Rai and the capture of Prithviraj broke the Rajputs. The battle changed Indian history forever. Would you like me to now explain what happened after the battle? Like what happened to Prithviraj, how the Delhi Sultanate began, and how this affected Indian politics? I can explain that just as simply and deeply. Here is a great, deep, detailed summary of the comic strip showing the different versions of Prithviraj Chauhan's death, explained like a story, step by step, in the same. Panel 1. Many stories about Prithviraj's death. What's happening? We see a narrator or historian showing 2 scrolls. One scroll has Minhaju Siraj's name, the other has Hasan Nizami's name. Deep explanation. This panel introduces us to the idea that there are multiple versions of how King Prithviraj Chauhan died. Just like people can tell different stories about the same event, historians in the 12th, 13th centuries wrote different things. Some said he died immediately in battle. Others said he lived for a while. This panel sets the stage for understanding the confusion and debate around Prithviraj's final fate. Panel 2. Minhaj. What's happening? Minhaj Siraj points to a captured Prithviraj soldier standing around him. He uses the words, sent to hell. Deep explanation. Minhaj Siraj was a Muslim historian who wrote around 1259 CE. In his book Tabakat-i-Nasiri, he says Prithviraj was captured in battle by Muhammad of Ghur and then killed with no mercy shown. The phrase sent to hell reflects Minhaj's religious and political bias. He saw Prithviraj as an enemy and infidel, so he believed his death was deserved punishment. This version is harked back to Prithviraj as a defeated villain. Panel 3. Hasan Nizami's version. Most accepted. What's happening? Hasan Nizami points to a scene where Prithviraj is taken back to Ajmer alive. Later, he is executed, and the word treason is shown. Deep explanation. Hassan Nizami wrote Tajul Masir, a history during Muhammad of Ghur's time. He gives a different story. Prithviraj was not killed in the battle, but was taken as a prisoner to Ajmer, his own capital. There, he was held alive for some time, maybe days or weeks, and later put to death because he was seen as a traitor, possibly for rebelling after surrendering or not following Ghurid rule. This version is more balanced, and most historians believe it is the accurate one. Panel 4. The legendary story by Chand Bardai, rejected. What's happening? Chand Bardai is shown writing a poem, and the scene shows Prithviraj shooting an arrow at Muhammad of Ghur in Ghazni. A big X shows that this story is false. Deep explanation. This story comes from a poem called Prithviraj Raso, written by Chand Bardai, who was said to be Prithviraj's court poet. In this legendary tale, Prithviraj is taken to Ghazni and secretly trained by Bardai to use a bow and arrow while blindfolded. He then kills Muhammad of Ghur before being executed himself. This story is very dramatic, but it is not supported by any historical records. It is more like a heroic fantasy than fact, like an ancient action movie. Historians do not accept this version, but it is popular in folktales and TV dramas. Hashtag extra context, not in the comic but important. Coins. Some coins from Prithviraj's time still survive. They have Sanskrit writing that uses the word Hamira, a form of Amir, meaning ruler. This shows that Prithviraj may have accepted Muhammad's overlordship for a short time before being executed, which supports Hassan Nizami's version. Second Battle of Tarain, 1192 CE. This was the key event that led to Prithviraj's defeat and capture. Muhammad of Ghur became the master of much of northern India after this. Final simple summary. 1. Minhaj-us-Siraj said Prithviraj was killed right after the battle and sent to hell. 2. Hassan Nizami said he was taken alive to Ajmer, then executed for treason. This version is most likely true. 3. Chand Bardai's poem said he was taken to Ghazni and killed Muhammad of Ghur with a blind arrow shot. But this is just a legend and not real history. 4. Coins show Prithviraj may have lived for a short time under Muhammad's rule before dying. Would you like a timeline, map, or another comic strip showing the Second Battle of Tarain or the legends of Chand Bardai next? Here is a great, deep, and detailed summary of the full passage you asked about, written in very simple and clear language, so that even a total beginner understands everything fully. So the Second Battle of Tarain, 1192 CE. The Second Battle of Tarain was a major turning point in Indian history. It happened in 1192 CE between Prithviraj Chauhan, a powerful Hindu king, and Muhammad of Ghur, a Muslim invader from Afghanistan. In this battle, Prithviraj was defeated, and this defeat had huge consequences for India. 1. Muhammad of Ghur's complete victory. After winning the battle, Muhammad of Ghur showed that he was now in north. His victory was decisive, meaning it left no doubt that he was in control. The defeat of Prithviraj completely broke the military strength of the Chauhan dynasty, which had once been one of the strongest kingdoms in the region. 2. Conquest of important fort towns. Right after the battle, Muhammad's army quickly took over several important towns like Hansi, Kuram, and Sarasuti. These were not just ordinary towns. They had military forts, weapons, and strategic value, which means they were very useful for controlling the land and guarding borders. To secure these towns, Muhammad stationed Turkish soldiers there. These troops formed garrisons, which are permanent military forces that protect a place. 3. Beginning of foreign rule in North India. Muhammad of Ghur now did something historically new. He planted a foreign Turkish Muslim kingdom right in the heart of North India, Hindustan. This was the first time that India came under the direct control of a foreign Muslim empire from outside the subcontinent. This would later lead to centuries of Turkish and Afghan rule in North India. 4. Indirect rule through local princes. Although Muhammad had won, he couldn't manage all the conquered land directly. The lands were far from his base in Afghanistan, and local resistance made direct control difficult. So, instead of ruling everything himself, he allowed local Hindu princes to stay in power under his control. He allowed Prithviraj's son to rule, but only as a vassal, a small king who accepted Muhammad's authority and had to obey him. Similarly, a Tomara prince in Delhi, who came after Kande Rai, was also allowed to remain in charge, but under Muhammad's rule. So, Muhammad began a system of indirect rule, keeping local rulers but making them submit to him. 5. Military control under Qutb-ud-Din Aibak. To make sure he could still control the region strongly, Muhammad placed his most trusted general, Qutb-ud-Din Aibak, Turkish army garrison near Delhi, in a place called Indraprastha. This step was very important because Qutb-ud-Din Aibak would later go on to found the Delhi Sultanate after Muhammad's death, which means this event was the beginning of Muslim rule over Delhi for many centuries. 6. Religious and cultural changes. As Muhammad's army conquered places, they brought Islamic traditions with them. Hindu temples were destroyed, especially those with idols, statues. In their place, mosques were built to symbolize the new ruler's faith. In all the captured regions, Islam was made the official religion of the state, following the usual practice of Islamic empires of that time. For example, in Ajmer, Hindu temples were demolished. A famous college built by Chauhan King Vigraharaja for education and learning was converted into a mosque. Conclusion: a major shift in Indian history. So the Second Battle of Tarain wasn't just a military victory. It was the beginning of a new age in Indian history. A strong Hindu dynasty, Chauhans, was destroyed. Foreign Turkish Muslim power was firmly planted in North India. New systems of rule, new armies, and new religious policies were introduced. And most importantly, it laid the foundation for the Delhi Sultanate, which would dominate Indian politics for the next 3 centuries. This battle and its aftermath changed India's history forever. Would you like a visual map, timeline, or simple diagram to help understand this? Here is a deep, detailed, and simple summary of the events described in the passage about Qutb-ud-Din Aibak's expansion after the Second Battle of Tarain. Background. After the Second Battle of Tarain, 1192, where Prithviraj Chauhan was defeated, Muhammad of Ghur returned to Ghazni, his homeland in present-day Afghanistan. But he left his trusted general Qutb-ud-Din Aibak in charge of the newly conquered areas in North India. 1. Rebellion in Ajmer. While Muhammad of Ghur was away, the people of Ajmer, especially the Chauhans, who used to rule there, rebelled. They tried to get back their freedom and remove the Turks, foreign rulers. A Hindu chief named Jatwan attacked the Turkish fort at Hansi, a military base in present-day Haryana. 2. Aibak's response. Aibak quickly marched to Hansi to save his soldiers trapped inside the fort. He fought and defeated Jatwan in a battle. Jatwan tried to escape, but Aibak chased him and killed him at a place called Bagar. 3. Capture of Baran, Bulandshahr. After defeating Jatwan, Aibak attacked Baran, modern Bulandshahr in Uttar Pradesh. Baran was ruled by the Dor Rajputs, led by a brave chief named Chandrasena. Chandrasena fought bravely, but he was betrayed by a relative named Ajaypala. Ajaypala took a bribe, a large amount of money, from Aibak and helped him defeat his own family. Because of this betrayal, the Dor Rajput rule ended in Baran. 4. Capture of Meerut. Next, Aibak went to Meerut and defeated the local rulers there too. He left Turkish soldiers, a garrison, in Meerut to control the region. 5. Capture of Delhi, 1193 CE. In 1193, Aibak attacked and captured Delhi. At that time, Delhi was ruled by the Tomara dynasty, a Rajput family. Aibak accused the Tomara ruler of planning to attack the Turkish soldiers and used this as an excuse to take over. From this point on, 1193, Delhi became the capital of Muhammad of Ghur's empire in India. Why this is important? These events show how Aibak crushed rebellions and expanded Turkish rule in India. He used a mix of military strength, betrayal, and smart political moves to capture important cities like Bulandshahr, Meerut, and Delhi. Delhi became the center of Turkish power in India, which later grew into the Delhi Sultanate. Summary in simple words. Aibak was left in charge of India. Rebellions started. Aibak crushed them. He won battles, used bribes, and captured cities. Important places like Bulandshahr, Meerut, and Delhi came under Turkish control. In 1193, Delhi became the capital of the foreign rulers. Let me know if you'd like this in comic form, timeline, or map format too. Here is a very simple, deep, and detailed summary of the second rising in Ajmer after Muhammad of Ghur's conquest, explained like teaching a total beginner or a child. Background. Before the second rising, Muhammad of Ghur had won the Second Battle of Tarain, 1192, and taken over Ajmer and many other places. He left his general, Qutbuddin Aibak, to manage the newly conquered areas. Prithviraj Chauhan, the old king, was dead. His son became the ruler of Ajmer again, but only as a vassal, meaning he obeyed and served the Turkish rulers. A Turkish garrison, military camp, was also placed in Ranthambore, another Rajput fort, under a man named Chiwam-ul-Mulk. What happened in the second rising? 1. The people were not happy. The Turks were foreigners and Muslims, and most of the local people were Hindus. People didn't like being ruled by outsiders, especially after their proud kings like Prithviraj had lost. So there were uprisings, rebellions. 2. A brave leader stepped up, Hari Raja. Hari Raja, the brother of Prithviraj Chauhan, wanted to take back power from the Turks. He attacked the Turkish military camp at Ranthambore, where Chiwam-ul-Mulk was stationed. 3. Chauhans removed Prithviraj's son. Some Chauhans were angry that Prithviraj's son was helping the Turkish rulers. So they removed him from the throne of Ajmer and tried to take full control. 4. Aibak reacts quickly. Qutbuddin Aibak, the Turkish general, acted fast. He led an army and fought back against the Chauhans. He saved both Ranthambore and Ajmer from being taken by Hari Raja and restored Prithviraj's son as ruler, but only as a vassal, still under Turkish control. 5. Hari Raja stays strong. Even though Aibak regained control, Hari Raja did not give up. He was still active and continued to fight against the Turks. 6. Another rising happens at the same time. While all this was happening, another Rajput group rose up, the Dor Rajputs. This rebellion forced Aibak to cross the Yamuna River again. In 1194 AD, Aibak captured the city of Koil, modern-day Aligarh, to suppress this new revolt. Key takeaways, in very simple words. Many Indians were angry about being ruled by foreign Muslims. Hari Raja, a brother of the old king, tried to fight back. Aibak crushed the rebellion for now, but resistance continued. Aibak had to keep fighting rebels in different places, which shows how hard it was to rule India just by force. Let me know if you want a visual comic strip of this part 2 or a timeline. Here is a deep, simple, and detailed summary of the defeat of Jaichand of Kanauj and the Battle of Chandawar, 1194 CE, explained in the easiest way possible, just like a perfect teacher would do for someone totally new to history. Summary. The defeat of Jaichand of Kanauj, 1194 CE, the Battle of Chandawar and its aftermath, explained step by step with clarity and extra detail. 1. Background. Who was Jaichand? Jaichand was the king of the Gahadwala dynasty, ruling over Kanauj and 2 very rich and important cities in northern India. He was one of the most powerful Hindu kings of that time. Muslim writers of the time even called him the greatest Hindu ruler of his age. He had earlier refused to help Prithviraj Chauhan when Muhammad of Ghur attacked in 1191-92. They had political rivalry. Both wanted to be the main ruler of North India. 2. Muhammad of Ghur's return to India. After defeating Prithviraj Chauhan at the Second Battle of Tarain, 1192, Muhammad of Ghur wanted to expand his empire further. He now turned his attention to Jaichand, the other big Hindu king. While his general Qutb-ud-din Aibak was busy putting down Rajput rebellions, Muhammad himself marched into India again in 1194. 3. The Battle of Chandawar, 1194 CE. Muhammad was joined by Qutb-ud-din Aibak, who brought the army from Delhi. Together, their forces moved toward Banaras. Jai Chand had to face the Muslim army alone, without help from other Hindu kings. His scouts, soldiers sent to spy or check enemy positions, clashed with Muhammad's army, but were defeated. Then, Jai Chand himself led his army and met the invaders at Chandawar, near the Yamuna River, between Kanauj and Etawah. He launched a strong and brave attack, and at first, the enemy army was shaken and nearly lost. But during the fight, a fatal arrow hit Jai Chand in the eye and killed him. His death caused panic and confusion in his army. Muhammad of Ghurid used this confusion to rally his own troops and turn the fight into a complete victory. This battle was a huge turning point, like the earlier victory at Tarain. 4. Loot and conquest after the battle. After winning the battle, Muhammad quickly marched to Banaras. Banaras was Jai Chand's favorite city and a center of culture, religion, and wealth. There, Muhammad found a massive treasure, so much that he needed 1,400 camels to carry it. He also captured many other towns that had Gahadwala treasures. These towns were taken quickly, as they had no strong defense after Jai Chand's death. 5. Fate. The capital city, Kanauj, way. It remained free for a few more years. Muhammad of Ghurid finally captured Kanauj in 1198 CE, 4 years after the battle. But even then, Jai Chand's family, the Gahadwalas, were not wiped out. They continued ruling small parts of their former kingdom, especially in places Muhammad's army didn't reach or couldn't control. Some records even say that the Gahadwalas briefly recovered Kanauj after losing. What matters? Importance. 1. End of Gahadwala power. Jai Chand's death marked the fall of one of the last great Hindu dynasties of northern India. 2. Rise of Turkish rule. This victory allowed Muhammad of Ghurid to add more land to his growing empire. 3. Door open for Delhi Sultanate. These wins, Tarin and Chandawar, helped Muhammad's generals like Qutb-ud-din Aibak later set up the Delhi Sultanate, which would rule India for centuries. 4. A huge cultural and political shift. It was a turning point in Indian history, shifting power from Rajput kingdoms to Turco-Afghan rulers. Quick timeline. Year event. 1192. Muhammad of Ghurid defeats Prithviraj Chauhan at Part-2. 1194. Muhammad defeats Jai Chand at Chandawar. 1194. After, he captures Banaras and other towns. 1198. He finally captures Kanauj. After 1198, Jai Chand's family holds some lands, may even briefly get Kanauj back. If you'd like, I can also give you a map of the battle locations, a character sheet of important people, Jai Chand, Muhammad of Ghurid, Qutb-ud-din, or a childlike story version of this event. Would you like that?